YouTube, how's it going? I am back with another 7-round NFL mock. This one's for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Uh, Very interesting team here because they don't have a whole lot of needs. They can go any direction they want. Can they resist going defense? They obviously extended Bortles is he their guy? It's really up in the air what they can do. I had a hard time kind of just figuring out what I think they should do or they could do. Before we get into it, fan voted mock draft link in the description. Keep on voting there for your team, any team. We're going to get through that and have a whole video on who you guys voted for, breaking down each of the picks. But let's get on to the Jags. In the first round, I did have them going with Lamar Jackson, quarterback of Louisville. I know Jags fans may be tired of seeing this. This could be a couple positions. Again, the Jags don't really have a lot of needs. What I saw here was they're filling out depth on their whole roster. There is another position of need at middle linebacker. I don't know if there's one worthy of the pick here. At this spot, I think some of the other guys are going to be gone, but they could use a middle linebacker. I have kind of a bold prediction about the linebacker. Let me get into that in a second. But if they're sitting in their current spot here and Lamar Jackson's there, why not? They have one quarterback on their roster, Bortles. You really don't know what you're going to get from him. Good season last year. You don't really know what you're going to get from him. And even though Lamar Jackson said he will not play another position, if they draft him, Bortles will start. Lamar Jackson will be the backup, but I think he'll also get in there on some action. I don't know what that would be. Jags are a good team. They're going to be very creative with him. I think he's not going to just sit there and not play. He said he doesn't want to play receiver because he wants to get drafted as a starting quarterback. He may be a backup for a little bit like this. Maybe outplay Bortles when he gets the chance to take over, but they will use him in other ways, and they can afford to do this because they're a pretty balanced team. I do think they need a number one wide receiver. They have pretty solid wide receivers. I think they need a legit number one, so that could be the option here. If one's sitting there, I think if somehow Cortland Sutton or Calvin Ridley are here, I think they pull the trigger on that. Don't think it happens, though. DJ Chark is an option. But Lamar Jackson, I think they'll be their backup quarterback, and they'll use him. But my bold prediction was they need a middle linebacker. I think they will really like Leighton, Vander, Esch, or Rashaan Evans. I think they may prefer Leighton, Vander, Esch. I prefer Rashaan Evans. Very close. So I could see the Jags. I'd look out for the Jags, a team that don't need a bunch of draft picks, to trade up, package some picks that they don't really need, and trade up and get Leighton, Vander, Esch. I'm pretty confident they may do that. Maybe not specifically Vander Esch, but I look out for the Jags. I almost had a trade scenario here. I tried to stay away from it. I did one for the Bills because it's most likely going to happen for the Bills. But the Jags, I haven't heard anybody say that, but I'm kind of thinking it. It could very much happen, so I'd look out for them. But Lamar Jackson, I went with him. Don't pass on it if he's there, I think. Round 2, Dante Pettis, wide receiver, Washington. I think the guy can play right now. He can return, obviously, if you need him or not. Very good route runner, very underrated. Didn't really work out the combine or anything. I think he's okay, though. I think he could be a number one receiver of the future. Just a guy that gets open, makes your offense better. Yeah, they have a great depth of receivers. But they need a guy that could be the number one. Dante Pettis maybe not going to be your number one right away, but I think he has the ability to be that. He's a very good athlete. And running routes, the ability to be a good route runner is very important these days. On to round 3, Josie Jewell, linebacker, Iowa. So they wait to round 3 to get their inside guy. A linebacker class is great, but maybe at that specific position where they need, it's mainly just great in the early to mid first round. Jewell's great, but you kind of got to wait to round 3. But I can see this guy being a star, especially with the Jags developing defensive players. I can see this guy starting easily and having a pretty good rookie year for the Jags. Maybe this year's Ben Gideon was a mid-rounder for the Vikings last year. Nobody expected him to play, just a rotation guy. He ends up starting for the top defense in the league, and you got the Jags here also right there, the top defense in the league. It just makes sense. So something I would look out for there if they don't end up trading up or getting a linebacker in the first. Maybe somebody falls to him in the first, but we will see. 4th round, Jordan Whitehead, safety, Pittsburgh. Possibly that Barry Church replacement in the future. He's getting up there in age, but still playing at a high level. Their safety play wasn't that great in the playoffs, maybe not as good as it was in the regular season. Not that we're replacing anybody quite yet, but Jordan Whitehead, maybe the safety of the future. I think he could play right now if you need him to. Played some offense, not that the Jags need him to, but it just shows he's an athletic guy. Can play on the deep, make a play on the deep ball, good playmaker. I like him in the 4th a lot. 6th round, Jordan Atkins, tight end, UCF. Here's the problem with this. I do like Jordan Atkins around the later rounds here. But the problem is the Jags have very good depth. They picked up a few linebackers, tight ends here. So do they need another? Do they need another guy like this? Maybe not. Maybe it's a go big or go home. You get that legit number 1 tight end in the future, or you just don't get one at all. But they have so many picks, and a guy with potential like this, I mean, why not? That's why I think they really don't need this. They really don't need it. They need if they're going to get a tight end, it's a number 1 tight end. But picks that they don't need, that's why I expect them to trade up if they really like guys that can help them win a Super Bowl in the next few years. Round 7, Brett Toth, offensive tackle, Army. They could use an offensive tackle earlier in this, I guess. But very good blocking last year. They pick up Norwell, who I know is a guard, but your line was good last year. It got even better for this year. Pretty impressive what they're doing. Just could use some depth here. Expect Cam Robinson to step up, the rookie from last year. Did well last year, but I expect him to take that next step. And then their last pick, Nick Stevens, quarterback, Colorado State. Another quarterback, you may say. Yeah, I think Bortles, the only quarterback on the roster. I mean, some teams go with 2. Bortles isn't a guy that's going to get hurt, so maybe you'd go with 2. But again, if they have Lamar Jackson sitting there, they're not going to have him sitting there. They're going to use him some way. So it'd be smart to have 3. I think they'll like Nick Stevens' ability, maybe a little Bortle-like. So I think they'll like his abilities, and it's not really a risk here in the 7th round. Pretty impressive for a late round guy. He can throw. He can really sling the ball around. So I like him in the later rounds. Maybe a solid undrafted guy, but I think the Jags will like his style. But that'll do it for the Jags mock draft. We're almost done with these. We're going to keep going through them. Should get done hopefully this week, if not early next week. But we should be getting this done and focusing on other draft coverage videos. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our other videos and stay tuned for more. Goodbye.